He still couldn't believe it. This amount of money could truly change their lives. They wouldn't have to live under a rusted roof anymore, worrying every time it rained. They wouldn't have to drink contaminated water just to get by. If they had heavy luggage or were too tired to walk, they could finally take the bus without hesitation. He could even buy a bicycle with proper gears. They could order delivery food. They could buy individual combo meals, just like everyone else. Most importantly, they would no longer have to feel embarrassed about their situation. This money would change everything for their family. The next day, he admitted his grandmother to the nearest hospital. Although she was still hesitant about the cost, he reassured her that everything would be fine. He told her that from now on, they could finally pay their utility bills without worrying. Then he showed her the money. 3 billion won, the amount he received from selling his account at auction. He smiled gently and told her that they could finally live happily, just like everyone else. With teary eyes, his grandmother nodded. "Of course," she said softly. "Be happy." But while they were talking, a group of men standing at the hospital room entrance suddenly walked in. Hyun's grandmother looked at them with confusion. "Who are you?" The men ignored her question. One of them stepped forward and called out to Hyun, asking if he still remembered him. Hyun remembered them very well. When he was younger, his parents had borrowed money from loansharks before they passed away. Since then, these men have harassed his family endlessly. They demanded payment even when the family had nothing. That was when Hyun realized something important. Being poor wasn't the worst thing in the world. Because being poor isn't a sin, but being in debt. He was chased constantly. At school, he was labeled a debtor. The loan sharks even came into his classroom. His homeroom teacher eventually begged him to pay them just out of fear. That was the moment Hyun decided to quit school, because he had learned something harsh. A sinner has no friends, no peace, no rest. Hyun glared at them. "Why are you here?" One of the men scoffed. "Stop playing dumb. You already know." They had come to collect the debt, in full. Hyun's voice turned cold. "Fine. I'll pay it right now." Then he asked, "How much?" One of the thugs sneered and told him to learn how to respect his elders. But since Hyun was such a valuable customer, he said he would let the disrespect slide. The total amount? 3 billion won. Hyun froze. "That's impossible. My father only borrowed 100 million won. The man in the red suit laughed. "It's been 8 years. Haven't you heard of interest? Don't try that crap on me. I'll call the police." But the loan sharks only smirked. They were very confident about whose side the police would take. As Hyun tried to gather his thoughts, the man sitting calmly on the sofa, the boss, spoke up. "That's enough." Everyone immediately quieted down. The boss told them to explain everything properly to the kid and stop wasting time. One of the thugs pulled out a document and handed it to Hyun. It was the contract. Hyun read through it carefully, and then everything went dark. There was a clause about the inheritance abandonment deadline. They had missed it, which meant the debt had legally transferred to him. The thug noticed the look on Hyun's face. "So you understand now," he said casually. "Pay up." They already knew about the online auction where Hyun sold his account. Hyun wanted to refuse, but these men made a living collecting money. If he didn't pay today, they would come back tomorrow, and the interest would continue piling up. Then one of them leaned close and whispered something about his sister, about how not everything they did was exactly legal. Hyun felt his chest tighten. At that moment, the hospital room door burst open. His sister came running inside. "Grandma!" Lee Hyun quickly called out to her. She froze mid-step because she suddenly found herself surrounded by the thugs. One man with fake blonde hair walked closer to her and smirked. "Well, well, looks like your sister grew into a fine woman." Hyun's hands trembled. Then he clenched his fists. "I'll pay." His voice shook with anger. I'll give you the money. Just don't ever come near my family again." With trembling hands, Hyun handed over his passbook and personal stamp. The man in the red suit processed the transaction and then casually handed something back. 9,000 in change, and a promissory note. Hyun realized something chilling. They knew exactly how much he had earned from the auction. The man in the red suit laughed. Privacy doesn't really exist on the internet anymore. The thugs bowed to their boss and turned to leave, but suddenly, Hyun spoke. "Wait." The man in the red suit stopped and looked back. "Oh? What is it,